Da 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 da. Again, the fans are singing his theme song. I am Mike Big Rock Wilson for the MRB Wrestling Review Show, and this is my review of Friday Night SmackDown, and the results as well. The show kicked off when Big E Langston came out in the entrance ramp and introduced the new World Heavyweight Champion Dolph Ziggler as if he was Ricardo Rodriguez, showing a bit of personality and making fun of Rodriguez in the process. I like it. It's tad bits of character to Big E Langston. And when Ziggler got interrupted during his promo speech, I like that three superstars interrupted, because even though Dolph Ziggler always wants it to be about him, there's always someone there to spoil his moment. And not only that, now that he has won the World Championship, he should realize now that Dolph Ziggler is a target. Just like John Cena when Ryback shell-shocked him in the middle of the ring on Monday Night Raw. So I like that first it was Jack Swagger and Zip Coulter. And Zip Coulter warned Dolph Ziggler that Jack Swagger will be gunning for his World Heavyweight Championship. And then Alberto Del Rio came out. He still has a bum leg, of course, which he would because of what happened on Monday Night Raw when Dolph Ziggler cashed in on Del Rio. And he told Alberto Del Rio that I'm also gunning for your championship. The part where Alberto Del Rio said "Hasta la vista, baby" kind of came off a little weird. I thought that was the only thing that was a bit awkward. It was a weird moment for Del Rio. That was just weird. But the third was Chris Jericho. And when he came out, he said he went to Booker T's office and said that there's going to be a match in the main event. It'll be Chris Jericho in a non-title match against Dolph Ziggler, which I will get to later on in this review. Also last night, it was a tag team match, a very quick one, where Kane and Daniel Bryan got the submission victory over the Primetime Players, Titus O'Neil and Derek Young. And then later on, I will get to another segment that happened involving Team Hell No. Also last night in a non-title match, it was Wade Barrett in a non-title match, winning the match over Santino Marella. I think right now, Wade Barrett looks good as the Intercontinental Champ. It's like almost the third time right now they're rebooting Wade Barrett. I really don't understand the logic behind it, but I like that Wade Barrett is the champion and not The Miz, because the Miz right now is it's a very mixed feeling with the resignation for The Miz with the WWE Universe. So I like that at least a proper heel, is a Intercontinental Champion in Wade Barrett. So I kind of like the logic and understanding behind that. As just for the match, I thought that was just a match just to fill the SmackDown roster. I thought the Wade Barrett and Santino match was just a match to fill the gap for SmackDown. And then Booker T makes a handicap match because Sheamus and Randy Orton told Booker that they want the Big Show. Both of them want the Big Show. And Booker T made the right decision, whereas Monday Night on Raw, he kind of went the wrong way with the way the WWE Universe works, because they wanted Big Show, Sheamus or Orton to face Big Show, and what happened was, there's a Twitter poll and the winner would face the Big Show. It was a match between Sheamus and Randy Orton, and there was no logic behind it. That really didn't make no sense. But on Friday night on SmackDown, Booker T made the right call this time. So we booked a handicap match where the Big Show will go 2-on-1 against Randy Orton and Sheamus. And during that backstage segment, Teddy Long also kind of interfered in Booker T's, the management skills. And I'm wondering if they're going to use the Hall of Fame now that Booker T is in the Hall of Fame. They could use this Hall of Fame story to make Booker T turn into a heel. So there's also an understanding of logic and reasoning behind that as well. In a Divas tag team match, it was the Bella Twins, Nikki and Brie Bella, facing the Funkadactyls, where the Bellas win over just a simple hair pull takedown. I thought that was a weak finish for a Divas match. Sure, the finishes they pull on NXT is so much more better than they do on Raw or SmackDown. And again, I harp on the WWE, whereas NXT always knows how to put on a Divas match. And that Divas tag team match on SmackDown was there was just no need for just the way it was. That match is better off on NXT because they know that there's not as much pressure that they feel. And I think the Divas on Raw and SmackDown really need more confidence build to their matches. Sorry. Thumbs down. And then, when I mentioned that Daniel Bryan and Kane, you probably might see them again. Well, that just might happen because Triple H came back after his WrestleMania match against Brock Lesnar. He came back on SmackDown, and he told the WWE Universe that he wasn't there to wrestle, he wasn't there for a fight, he was there for a war. And then 3MB decides, we're going to attack you, Triple H, because it seems like this is what the three-person gang is doing now. It's almost like the cool new thing that the group of three are doing. Much like the Shield, what they've done on Raw, when they want to cement their name, when they want to take down the Phenom, The Undertaker. So I guess 3MB decided anything the Shield can do, they could do better. But what happened was, the Shield came out and saw the injustice and took out 3MB before they got the chance to attack Triple H. And then the Shield closed in on Triple H, only to have Daniel Bryan and Kane come out and ruin their parade. So I'm wondering how this is all going to play out. Is there going to be a tag team championship match involving the Shield and Team Hell No? Or is this going to be a thing for the Shield where they want to go after the top dogs in the WWE, just like The Undertaker on Raw and Triple H on SmackDown? Is this going to continue, or are we going to see a tag team match? I think there's going to be a main plot and subplot in the midst of all this. We'll know in the weeks to come. Hopefully the story is much more clear in the weeks to come, because right now it's just a little confusing, and that's the only thing that came off only a little bit short on SmackDown. Also last night, in that 2-on-1 handicap match, Randy Orton and Sheamus won via countout. Later on in the backstage segment, when Renee Young wanted to interview both Sheamus and Orton, it was just Sheamus. And then Mark Henry attacked Sheamus from behind. And I think this is going to be interesting to see where this leads, because I could see a lot of scenarios happening. I could see a future match, maybe at Extreme Rules, if Mark Henry takes on Sheamus. I could also see a tag team match where two huge men team up, The Big Show and Mark Henry, to take on Sheamus and Randy Orton. That makes a whole lot of sense, because I think that'll be a match that would definitely should happen either Raw or SmackDown. It's perfect. So I like that. Maybe Randy Orton and The Big Show could have a one-on-one match at Extreme Rules, and Sheamus will be busy with Mark Henry and John Cena with Ryback. And for the world title, which I will get to later on, I could see a scenario where Alberto Del Rio will face both Jack Swagger, If Dolph Ziggler I like to see Dolph Ziggler put in a situation where he faces Jack Swagger and Alberto Del Rio in a triple threat match. Also last night, Kofi Kingston went one-on-one with Antonio Cesaro, where Kofi Kingston got the victory in a non-title match. The only problem I had with that match is that those two superstars had no proper entrance. It was just, okay, television screen on, ding ding ding, the two are already ring the bell, and they wrestle. That's the only thing that sucked from that match. But what I like now is that there's a contender for the United States champ, so at least there's something for Antonio. At least he's picking his opponents right now. And that's something that should have happened a long time ago. And I'd like to see Kofi Kingston actually defeat Antonio Cesaro, because remember, Antonio Cesaro always says, no American will ever defeat me, and Kofi Kingston, he's not an American. So I'd like to see a title change very soon in the weeks to come, because let's face it, Antonio has been a champ for like almost a year now, so I'd like to see where this goes. And and before the main event happened, when Fandango come out, I saw a bit of Johnny Curtis, shaking his booty a bit. That was classic Johnny Curtis when he came out. Everything he does is top notch. And the main event, Chris Jericho and Dolph Ziggler, was an excellent wrestling match. Chris Jericho always looks good ever since he came back. I know I said this many times, but it's true. Ever since Chris Jericho came back at the Royal Rumble this year, he's been excellent throughout his matches. He's been perfect 10s if you were Fandango's cue cards. And I like that it was basically a 4-on-1 match, because with Fandango out there, Dolph Ziggler had Big E Langston and AJ Lee. So really, Chris Jericho had no chance of winning, really. In which Dolph Ziggler got the victory. But I like that all of those superstars got something out of the very last segment on SmackDown. Because no matter if Chris Jericho wins or loses, he always looks good. Because the other superstars are benefiting from him. So that Dolph Ziggler got the victory. Big E Langston made his statement on Chris Jericho, and so did Fandango, where Fandango closed off SmackDown as he danced around the ring and leg dropped Chris Jericho. I thought that was a tremendous way to end SmackDown, because it's like they're giving a huge push for Fandango already. Mainly because his theme music is so popular right now and moving into the top 3 on the iTunes charts, beating out the likes of Taylor Swift and others. And that was my review of Friday Night SmackDown. Get plenty of rest, and always do your best.